Well, hello, my friends. Kevin the Comic Doctor coming to you with another edition of One on One. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about the goings on over at Warner Brothers, because you know what? It's going to have a direct impact. At least I believe it's going to have a direct impact on comic books, especially those DC comic books we've all been wondering about over the last, several months and even years. We all know that Marvel, and if you guys are, constant watchers or of my what's in the press and as well as my unboxings, you know that the majority of books that I tend to showcase are Marvel books, right? We do have those days when those DC books are showcased too, but let's be honest, the Marvel books have been dominating what's in the press and dominating my unboxing. So you know what? Is that going to change? Is that going to change? Well, you know what? It might just that might be happening. I'm going to tell you why. You may have already heard of this. I'm just going to go over it really quickly. Well, I don't know if you guys know who this fella is. Oh, I'm going to have to go back to my my main camera here. I don't know if you know who this fella is right here. That's Alan Horn, my friends. Alan Horn used to be the COO and president of Warner Brothers back in 1999. He was in that position until 2012. At that time, he was ousted from his position because he was getting too old. They wanted fresh blood, new blood at Warner Brothers. They kind of said, you know what, time to retire, Alan. And so he did. But then Bob Iger over at Walt Disney saw him and said, you know what, this guy is a powerhouse. Let's bring him over to Disney. So he then went over to Disney as the chief creative officer and chairman of Walt Disney Studios from 2012 to 2020. Guys, this guy knows his stuff. He was at at Disney, during the heyday. I mean, during the early Kevin Feige blitzkrieg of Marvel movies, right? So he knows a good thing when he sees it. And so anyhow, he was at Marvel for a very long time, and he retired again. Well, as you probably know, Warner Brothers has just merged with Discovery. And David Zaslav, was a CEO of Discovery, I believe, is now in charge of the whole umbrella, Warner Brothers Discovery. He taps Alan Horn on the shoulder again and says, come on over and be a consultant. So this powerhouse is now at Warner Brothers. And if you've been reading all the memes and have been seeing all the news coming out of DC, I know Walter Hamada over at DC is pulling his hair out because, you know what, this guy over here, another fellow you guys may have heard of, David Zaslav, you've heard the Axe of Zaslav. He's cutting all kinds of projects over at Warner Brothers. He said goodbye to the Wonder Twins project, the Batgirl project, which was completely, I think it was almost in the bag, canned it. No release whatsoever. He said, done. He also wants to get away from DC being prominent on television, and he wants DC to have much more of a presence theatrically. Again, that's where I think why he tapped Mr. Alan Horn in the shoulder to come on over. So what the heck does this mean? What does this mean for these DC movies moving forward? Are we going to see a new Superman? Are we going to see a new Batman? Are they going to can Peacemaker? Are they going to get rid of the Suicide Squads? We don't know yet. We don't know if they're going to cherry pick some of the popular titles. Aquaman has always been a popular title. Are they going to keep those actors in place? Are they going to fire Gal Gadot and find someone new? Or are they going to keep Gal Gadot and move forward? We don't know. But I know that Alan Horn has been brought in there. A big part of it's going to be trying to revamp DC and to give DC a much more competitive stature in the film market. Okay, so what does that mean for our comic books? Well, guys, I think it means DC is on the hunt to take back first place, right? And if Alan Horn has his way, and apparently from what I'm hearing, it's a 10-year plan they put in place to revamp the DC universe. Yeah, of course. You know as well as I do as a comic book collector that as soon as an announcement is made, comic books are directly impacted by that. Their value all of a sudden goes up. Their popularity all of a sudden goes up. Now, if a movie comes out and it bombs, sometimes that comic softens in price. But if they have a home run of a movie, that obviously will affect the comic book price as well. So Alan Horn is definitely, I think, going to make a heck of an impact over at Warner Brothers Discovery, and we are going to see. Again, it's not going to happen tomorrow, guys. It's going to take some time, but we're going to see certainly a new move, some sharp moves by the DCEU. Now, also, I heard today that they want to make Superman the primary character again. They're going to go back to that. You know, he's our flagship character, and they're going to center it around Superman. Of course, you know, with Batman and Wonder Woman as well, you know, flanking him, but Superman is going to be the key component of this. So does that mean Henry Cavill's coming back? I don't know. All I know, guys, and the reason I brought this video up today is I just wanted to share with you that news that Alan Horn, I guess you could say Hollywood royalty, Hollywood powerhouse, you know, filmmaker, producer, whatever, he is going to be injecting DC with, I think, some creative juices that it sorely lacked, and I think Zaslav again is able to differentiate between projects that have the potential to be very good and very bad. Now understand, the Blue Beetle project still on the books. The Flash movie up in the air. John Campy today over his show was joking about them calling it Batman Flashpoint and not just Flashpoint, to kind of focus it more on the Batman character. And we all know that Michael Keaton was supposed to have a significant role in that Flashpoint move. So maybe they're going to rejig that a little bit so that the Flash character, it's a Flash movie, obviously, but that the Flash is not the center character any longer. I don't know. Again, this is all just conjecture. I don't know for sure. The exciting news, though, is that it looks like DC is going to get, I think it's going to get rebooted. I think they're going to reboot this thing from scratch. Unless they use some kind of multiversal thing to explain away why certain characters are still here and why others are different. I don't know. But I think it'd be in their best interest to start over from scratch and to go from there. But again, it's a 10-year plan, similar to what Alan Horn and Kevin Feige had when they did the first phase. I think phase 1 and 2 and 3, I believe, of the MCU. It was a 10-year plan, all laid out. Now, other interesting news. Alan Horn used to work very closely with Kevin Feige. And since Disney was Disney's chairman of the board there, Bob Iger, left, who took his place again? Maybe someone out there can help me know. Let me know. I forget his name at the top of my head. It's on the tip of my tongue. Bob Chapek. There we go. Since Bob Chapek came into Disney, he's kind of tighten the reins on Kevin Feige. He's the president of Marvel Studios, but he does not have the freedom he once had under Bob Iger. Many are speculating that Alan Horn might tap Kevin Feige on the shoulder and say, "Hey, come on over to Warner Brothers Discovery." You never know. So this could be a real shift in the making. A lot of changes could be coming. If Kevin Feige, you know how it is. If you're at a job and you're given all these freedoms by one boss and a lot of respect by one boss, and another boss walks in and treats you like dirt, all of a sudden your allegiance to this establishment might not be quite as strong as it once was. So perhaps Feige will jump ship from Marvel to DC. So all kinds of crazy things could be happening in the works, guys. So I'll try to bring you that news as I get it. Let's go over only a few of you. I mean, it was a last minute video I wanted to put out, but I'll go over to the chat. Let's see who's over there now. Perhaps you guys have some ideas as well too. If you have your own ideas as to what's happening with the oops. Just screwed up my chat window a bit. There we go. If you have any ideas as to what's happening with what's happening over at Disney, let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear them. Okay, let's go over and see who's here. So Chuck's here. How you doing? Good to see that the Blue Beetle is getting spared. Yes, it was. It did not get cut. Batgirl got cut. Blue Beetle did not. Hey, Rob, how's it going? Good to see you. Mike is here. I think it's a good move. Oh, for sure it is. Whenever you can add talent like that, proven talent. Look, understand something. When he was over at Warner Brothers originally, he was instrumental in pushing forward trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, and the Harry Potter series. So this guy, Alan Horn has been, was at Warner Brothers at a very high point, and then moved over to Disney again at a very instrumental moment in their history. So can only be good. Rob says, yep, a good move. DC needs all the help it can get when it comes to movies and TV. Yes, and again, they are shifting, I think, from the whole television HBO thing, and they're going to try to make it more of a theatrical based IP. They want to have more of a presence in the movies. More so than television. Unlike Disney Plus, which is kind of reverted, we're seeing a lot more products on television with Disney than we are seeing in the theater. We're still seeing, don't give me 2 or 3 movies a year, but we're seeing a hell of a lot more television product coming out from Disney. And let's be honest, the product that Disney's putting out, in my opinion, has been pretty, I want to say lackluster, but inconsistent is probably a better word, I would say. For sure, it can be frustrating for us DC fans. Sometimes, LOL. I like Marvel too. I like them all. I'm the same. I just want good. I want good stuff. We all want good products. We don't want garbage storytelling. We want good storytelling, and we want these characters and these stories that we love and have loved forever to finally be given their due. Right. So, absent of stupid politics and woke nonsense, just give us the stories as we always have known them to be. Like, don't change them to suit the needs of a political agenda of today, and that's a big problem too. And it looks like Zaslav is all about that. He's all about screw that nonsense. We're going back to the basics here. Superman. Let's see what they do with Superman though. Rob says there may actually be good spec market for DC if they do it right, because right now there's nothing unless it's related to Batman, and it's true. And I've been saying this for about 1.5 years. If you can find some great DC books, perhaps it's a time to jump on that. Maybe this halt in production will affect the value of DC books or some of the more obscure DC books, and maybe it's an opportunity to buy. Right, so keep your eye on the prices. Mike says, I know they have had so many cool characters that they just don't, use. That's for sure. Rob says they use them, but it's on the CW and it kills any interest in them. Oh, the CW guys, I was a fan of the CW for a long time. I mean, I watched a little bit of Arrow. The whole family got in on the Flash. We really enjoyed that for the first 2, 3, 4 seasons, and we bailed because the storylines were the same every friggin' week. It was the same kind of nonsensical storyline, same structure. It wasn't very creative that way. And then, of course, the woke agenda jumps in and they start shoving crap down our throat, and it wasn't even done in a seamless, organic way. Because sometimes messages have to be, directors want to talk about, stuff, and I have no problem with that. But it's how that information's conveyed and how a story is told. If it's done in such a strong-handed way, I don't like it. And the same thing goes for that other show they did. It wasn't CW, I think it was Netflix. It was the Black Lightning show. Started watching that, but oh my Lord, I started watching it with my kids and I had to turn it off. It wasn't appropriate. And it just was, anyways. The tonality was all wrong, and CW was all over the place. And that crappy, what's that, DC Heroes of Tomorrow, whatever. It just was garbage. Yeah, taking these characters and watering them down and making them really bad. It wasn't a very good show, right? Anyway, it had some good talent. Don't get me wrong, the talent on the show was fine. The actors they chose in many cases were quite good. But just the storylines and the predicaments and the situations they were in were just ridiculous and stupid. And it became, even my kids didn't want to watch that stuff anymore. So there it is. Feige would be a huge loss for MCU, darn right. But they better start treating him better. If Chapek goes in there and strips him of his power and says, and listen, think about that. Bob Iger's been gone since, when did Bob Iger leave as CEO? I think it was about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, Bob Chapek's been in that position. And just notice what's been happening over in Disney, in Marvel in particular since then. in the last 2 years. I think the last 2 years of Marvel have been the weakest 2 years, and those are the 2 years that relate to Bob Chapek. I'm not saying he's responsible for that directly, but I mean, I also know that again, Feige's powers were stripped from him. Very powerful man still, but he doesn't have carte blanche anymore, right? And that's a problem. When the creatives are all of a sudden given limitations, especially if they've proven themselves, what's up with that? Mike says, true, I guess I just want to see all favorite characters on the big screen. Me too. Hey, Wayne, how's it going? Yay. Wayne, what weird thing is those Warner Brother DC cartoons are amazing. Why can't they do that with the movies? I always thought, though, and I think you're talking about like the Justice League Unlimited or the Justice League series. I love those series. Those cartoons were amazing. And even the Teen Titans, the Titans series isn't too bad either. Although I really did love those the animated series, the Batman, the animated series. They were all quite good. Yeah, I don't know. They got it right in the animated department. But the live action, no. And you know what's funny is that the Justice League cartoons, the Batman, the animated series took themselves far more seriously than the CW shows, which goes to show you, that an animated series could deliver that, what a live action series could not, right? If I had to sit down and watch, the entire, all the CW episodes or sit down and watch all the animated series stuff, I'm watching the animated series stuff. It's so much better. You are 100% right on that. Rob says, if they do keep some TV, they have to tie it all together like Marvel does. And they probably will. Right now, it's kind of willy-nilly, right? You don't know what the hell's going on. The Flash TV show is canceled now, so it's a start. Yeah, and that's another thing. Canceled it. And again, that's Zaslav, right? No, we're not getting a full season. Wrap it up. He got 13 episodes, not 26. He's cutting a lot of stuff, and that's good. I think, you have to tear shit down to rebuild sometimes, guys. You want to build a house, you got an old house in place, and the house is all decrepit and falling apart. Sometimes it's better just to tear it all down and start from scratch. Build a new foundation and build it all up rather than trying to, patch this and patch that. I mean, yeah, people love Henry Cavill. People love Gal Gadot. People love, what's his name? Aquaman dude there. I always forget his name. People love, there are certain aspects, certain characters that we have grown to love in the DCEU. But do we sacrifice the future to save these 2 or 3? Remember, it's not about the actors. We're not doing this for the actors. This goes back to that conversation we had a few days ago about T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman, right? It's not for the actors, right? It's not. Yes, we love Henry Cavill as Superman, but there's somebody else out there who can do the job as well. There's another Wonder Woman out there. There's another Aquaman out there. They're out there. Write some good stories. Let's rock and roll. We'll see. Pappy, how's it going? Long time, buddy. Yes, DC Comics going up. Glad to see Action One. My Action One will increase in price. You have an Action One, Pappy? Must be nice. No, the WB cartoon movies, The Killing Joke. Oh, yeah, those are good too. Those are pretty good. The Killing Joke was all right, but yeah, some of those are quite good as well. Yeah, I don't mind those. I'm just talking about the half-hour cartoons. Some of those are fantastic as well. Mike M says that there is animated movies as well. That's what Wayne was just talking about. And Pappy says Peacemaker is the Iron Man of DCU so far. Yeah, you know what? Peacemaker's been probably one of the best things that they've put out. You're right. Wayne says, you guys are all purists who need to remember the times change. We're old. Stay with the times. Look, I have no problem with them changing things around. I never had a problem with that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the stories themselves, and yes, times do change. There are different trends and there's different fashions and whatever. And that's why Superman's costume changes too, to suit more of our modern sensibilities. I get that. Are we talking about politics here? Times change? I don't know. I just don't like being bombarded with political overtones in the entertainment I watch. Don't get me wrong. It's a time and a place. And I have, again, art, whether it be a painting or music or even a movie, should say something about society, right? It should be, I think entertainment aside, they should teach us something. But the problem is, if your teacher is left leaning, or if your teacher is right leaning, and their politics become so overbearing in their product, then I think it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, right? If you watch CNN exclusively, or you watch, Fox News exclusively, that's probably not a good thing. You need something in the middle. You need to watch both, or find something in the middle, because one person's going to try to get you to think one way, the other person's going to try to get you to think another way. And again, I don't think that's what entertainment should be all about. I think a director can talk about grander notions, or grander ideas, or humanistic ideas, or things about the world. But I think petty politics, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. And I don't want that in my entertainment. As soon as I see that, I turn it off. That's petty politics. Like, I'll use Star Trek: The Next Generation as a good example. That was a fantastic show, and it was very political in many ways, and it dealt with all kinds of subject matter and all kinds of topics, but it did so in a lofty way, in an intelligent way, in a way that wasn't preachy. They told a story that dealt with different issues, and did so without, again, beating us over the head, and letting us absorb or take in the information and let us process it. And I thought it was done in a very intelligent way, unlike a lot of the crap we're seeing on the CW, for example, or other shows. Pappy, I have the 50-year anniversary action. Oh, okay, Pappy, come on. You got me nervous there. I thought, oh my Lord, he's a Action Comics #1. I'm very, very jealous. Devil's advocate here. No. Wayne, I appreciate that. You can't tell the story like it's 1930. If you're doing Superman, you can't tell the story like it's 1938 anymore, because it's not 1938, and audiences won't buy in, right? I get that. I understand that. But the powers that be, again, you can talk about issues that concern all humankind. Real problems, not the silliness that we blind ourselves with every day, not the nonsense that fill up our cell phones every day. Anyways, that's all I got to say about that. Anyways, guys, there you go. Again, if you get a second, go over to Wikipedia, look up Alan Horn, and check out his resume. Pretty impressive. Alan Horn, again, if you're just tuning in right now, guys, Alan Horn, former COO and president of Warner Brothers, is now back at Warner Brothers after retiring twice. He retired from Warner Brothers, was brought back to Disney in a leadership capacity for several years, over a decade, and then retired again. As I'm retiring now. And he left. And he's being brought back again by Warner Brothers this time to help out over there. And again, I don't know if I talked about Walter Hamada or not, but Walter Hamada is I think he's the president of DC, or he's in charge of all the happenings at DC. He almost quit. When they canceled Batgirl. He was like, I'm out of here. But I think he is gone. His days are numbered. I think he's going to be gone in October, and they'll probably find someone else to head up the DC division. Like, Alan Horn is not there just for DC. Although DC is an umbrella he is going to be strongly involved in. Once Walter Hamada takes off, they'll find someone else to replace him. Yeah. So anyways, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the bit of news. Maybe you better get out there and start looking for those DC comics, because they might just help your comic book portfolio down the road. And you know what? If you're out for reading DC comics, there's some excellent DC books out there just to read for have fun as well. All right, guys. And Pappy says on our way out, I hope they make a Crisis on the Infinite Earths movie. You know what? I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they end up using that in a big screen version of that as well. That was one of the most popular DC story arcs, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's there. All right, guys, that's it for me. Have a great night. I have lots of books coming back from CGC. Nothing has arrived today. I got a feeling some are going to start arriving on Sunday and Monday, so keep your eye open for an unboxing. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. All the best to you. Have a fantastic night. Bye for now. Take care.